xQc versus Sardoche, the winner of Group B with the white pieces versus the second place player of Group A, Sardoche.
All right, let's go, brother. I'm gonna call him my brother because we have like the same name, so now we're technically related. Okay.
He plays bishop to c4 and
I don't
d6.
know if he has anything prepped, but his development looks pretty solid so far. But he has been grinding so much, and it's definitely been paying off in his games.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like to call this a reverse London. Everything comes back to the London, but all right.
It's always about the London. I like the setup that Sardoche has gone for because the bishop on c4 can be dangerous, pointing at that f7 spot. After e6, you make your pawn structure more solid and the king safer.
The problem is this knight is not very protected, only by queen, which leaves you kind of vulnerable. Oh, wait a minute. Queen? Pawn push. Double attack. That's a double attack.
Queen f3.
At Hikaru prep, is he gonna go for it?
No, this is no longer protected though. Do I care?
I mean, if he did go queen f3, just bishop b7, right? Counteracting right away.
Yes, that would be a good response, but Sardoche has to find it. So let's see first of all.
It's a double attack. I'm gonna go for it.
Oh, he's going for
it. To do it.
I like it. Putting him under pressure, okay.
He is ready to push his e-pawn to e5, and that would mean that both the knight on f6 and the rook on a8 would be hanging. But unfortunately for him, Sardoche immediately plays the best response, bishop to b7, and now the pawn is pinned. You cannot push e5 because that would be, as we all know,
Botez gambit. Yeah, the thing with these moves is like Box called them. They're serotonin moves. It looks nice because he has this one move threat, but now he pretty much just helped black develop, and now his queen's a little bit pinned. Okay, he chose to offer the trade, which is also good. You want to trade when you're up material.
But I'm not sure that he should allow it on b4. So I agree with you that trading overall could be beneficial to him. But now if bishop takes, a takes, b4, that pawn on b4 will be vulnerable. And queen to b5 would attack both the bishop on b7 and the pawn on b4. So xQc has a chance to win the pawn back if he spots that although queen b5, queen e7, that's still not over. But it would make Sardoche's life more difficult to develop the knight from b8 at least.
It is exactly what you're saying. He's a little bit down, so he needs to get an attack going, and this could be the opportunity for that.
And I can fork this. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah! Move queen here and fork that.
Those knight forks are good ideas, but unfortunately it's not happening.
They don't
work. Guarding the square, and now rook c8. That is the best move that Sardoche has found.
There's not much I can do here.
Wow.
He's gonna trade. He's gonna do it, is he?
Oh,
He's gonna go for it.
Oh my goodness.
It's gonna be a bit of an issue. Andrea, if we could bring our board back and show what's happening in this position with that c5 knight. Unfortunately for xQc, this is now pinned through the c5, through the diagonal. Knight to a6 adds yet another attacking piece to what's going on this c5 square. That's the key square here. That's the key piece. The c5 knight is going to fall. There's not another piece that white can bring here to the defense. The d4 knight, unfortunately, is unable to guard their body on c5. You cannot protect it.
Yeah, queen b5 was the only way. He has the same situation when he pinned his queen earlier. And now we can't save the piece. It's getting really tough. He doesn't even have any like tactics, try to sack. Oh, okay.
Is playing knight to d7 to try to bait Sardoche.
But he's losing his rook.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Sardoche played that so quick. He didn't even have to double check. He was so confident that he's taking the queen and then the rook. So both queens are off of the board, but this is now an extra rook for Sardoche.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. He looks like he's at a serious chess tournament right now. He is so focused. You know, when like half your face is covered by your hands, you're in your zone. He's been killing it.
Now the rook has gone for the two knights, and what remains on the board is still, unfortunately, very, very tough for xQc. It's 2 extra pieces and 4 pawns, 4 passed pawns for Sardoche.
The games were going. All right. Okay, they did trade. Had to catch up here. Well, okay. And the stalemate chances are looking better and better. What can I say?
We gotta push that H pawn. Yeah.
There we go. Now it's just the king against the world. But I don't know if his dreams are going to come true.
Let's see if it's gonna be stalemate or checkmate. We are just a few moves away from seeing the reality. If queen to g3 would have been checkmate, but Sardoche knows it well. He shouldn't bring the queen that close. He brings the king in, and now it's checkmate on the board.
No mercy.
The first game. No mercy at all.
Wow. So yeah, xQc really threw everything he had for that stalemate, but Sardoche played very clean. That was a killer game.
Sardoche won the first game, meaning that xQc is in a must-win situation. He has to win. If he doesn't win, he will be eliminated the London system. Andrea is already getting excited. Let's see the GM Hikaru preparation.
This is the game I've been looking forward to, man. Because I don't play a single other opening as white except the London system. So when I see it, I get really excited because it's, you know, the one thing I've studied a lot. All right.
So far, so good. Knight to c6 is the move that Hikaru was showing to xQc, with the setup being e6 and bishop to d6. That's the issue. This f4 push, whether it was the best or not, it has prevented the GM Hikaru preparation, where they mainly were focusing on positions with the trade of bishops. Now, the trade of the bishop for the e5 knight, how do you see the opening of the f file in this system?
I mean, this is okay. I think these pawns are pretty strong, and that now we have the bishop pair. Sometimes I get really annoyed when, you know, they copy you and then they come do the same thing and get their own pawns and then even push f5 too. But I don't know if xQc is going to come for the center. Yeah, so the hard thing here, and I was going to ask you, what do you think the best plan for xQc to develop is? Because his pieces are all pretty passive and all bunched up together and retreated already.
It's tough. You're right with the knight on d7 in the way of the bishop. Oh, f6 though.
I like it.
I was gonna say, I think you need to try to explode that central structure of white. f6 is the way to go, but bishop h4 by Sardoche immediately to pin the pawn.
He is so fast. No, this is great because his pieces could not develop anywhere. He has to break through somewhere, but Sardoche is playing these fantastic moves so fast.
Pushing the pawn to g5 would be too committal. He should definitely not weaken his king with the pawn to g5.
No.
Jinx it.
You jinxed him, Anna. It's all your fault. Okay.
I mean, maybe it can still turn out well, but I feel like this is too committal.
Yeah, now just xQc's king is almost naked and afraid. Look at all these holes. Yeah, so now it's up to Sardoche. Maybe he's going to see this idea, try to prevent it, and play something safe, like retreating his bishop, or even more aggressive. I wonder, I guess he doesn't have any sack idea, like queen h5, take the bishop, give some checks, and clean up his pawns. There's a lot of ideas for white.
Wait a second. He won the first game, so if he finds a way in which he can force a perpetual check, he would be claiming the match. So it makes a lot of sense for him to look for queen h5, queen g6, and try to give perpetual.
Yeah, actually, I think this is a perpetual because king f8, queen check, and here then we have a mate threat. So so there actually is a force. Well, if they take the bishop, though. So queen h5 is an interesting move.
I think you have just solved the match. If he spots queen to h5, which either is with a really strong attack for white, or if the bishop is accepted, it's a perpetual check for white. That's all that Sardoche needs. Oh, you can the next stage to the semifinals. He plays bishop instead, which is very ambitious, but it may not be.
Oh my god, it's now the advantage is in black side. I think maybe the plan is f5, but the eval bar took a big drop.
I think he has stepped into the sacrifice I was trying to make work. Knight takes e5.
You've been the knight one, not even the f5.
Knight takes
okay, let's play it out.
So that when d takes, the other knight takes, and now the queen and the bishop are hanging. And if you drop the queen back to e2 to guard the d3 bishop, then the h4 bishop is taken. So you cannot guard both bishops.
Wow. Okay, I don't want to miss it. Let's see if xQc is gonna find it. Yeah, f5 was a little bit of a safer move, still blocking the attack, but that was a really complicated tactic there.
Let's bring our
Sardoche?
board back and show what's happening, because Sardoche had to realize that the bishop was gonna be lost, so he places the knight on f3 and then takes on h4. If we just roll back one move, I was really worried again about that queen appearing near the king, so instead of knight takes h4, which happened instantly, I thought Sardoche could have gone for your idea with the perpetual queen to g6
Queen
again.
G6.
And that's why
Yeah.
it would have been better on h7, so that that square is guarded. But these are tiny details that are very difficult to spot when you're in the midst of the game, and it's such a complex, messy position. Knight takes h4 makes sense too, to try to attack the king. Let's see if xQc will bring more pieces to the king side. You need to get your rook and queen involved. Rook to g8, for instance, would be very logical. And all that Sardoche has is a pawn to compensate for it. Not much, especially considering that it's not a passed pawn.
And they're stacked, as we say, not doubled. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Stacked pawns.
Oh.
And now g4, offering the pawn. I don't know if Sardoche miscalculated it, that there are two pieces of black attacking that square.
Yeah, I
he
don't
takes
know.
the pawn.
Wow. Oh, he was planning to win it back, but I mean, black can just defend his pawn here.
He might have miscalculated that now there's h5 push to guard the pawn, and the rook on g3 is stuck. So it's not only that he lost the pawn.
Can't go anywhere.
The pawn on its own wouldn't be that much of a disaster, but the fact that you cannot move your rook ever, how will he activate the g3 rook?
Oh no! I was gonna say just has to watch out for this knight check. He's been preparing, but we. All right.
Okay, so xQc did step into the knight fork, but it's not the end of the world if he will take one of the minor pieces for it. So he can either take on g6 or move the king and then take back on f8.
Yeah, there's a few. I think even after this exchange.
Oh, I think he has already made his decision before we could have listened in. He does take on g6, but now he has to be careful with those pawns. The h5 pawn is hanging, and if he loses that pawn, the g4 pawn too will fall.
Yeah, he only has one way to defend his pawn, bishop e8. He, right now, even though he just lost the exchange, he's still doing much better because he has this passed pawn here, but he can't drop these pawns.
Yes, he's got two minor pieces for the rook, but he has to guard the pawns. And you're right, Andrea, it's not so easy to find bishop e8 or something tricky with the knight jumps if he gets over to f5, but that's way too dank. Knight e7 to then go knight f5.
No, he's dropping them. These were the key to success. Oh no. And now it's back in white's favor.
The g3 rook was completely dead, and now it's back in the game after the g4 pawn
now he's
drops.
Free. He's breaking free from the chains of this pawn and taking two pawns almost. And there goes another one. Oh man.
Oh no. And the issue with the king to h6 is that after rook h1 or bishop g4, there will be checkmate patterns too now.
Yeah, we got the rook roller here holding back the king. We just have to take this pawn. Wow.
What a turn of events. xQc with the piece up, but he did not see that knight fork coming. Rook f8 would have been a logical move if it wasn't for the tactical pattern. And now this should be mate in two. Rook takes g4, king goes back to h6, and discover check mate. And if king to f5,
and now it's just mate in one. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
that
it
was
is.
brutal.
Oh.
He just sweeped him at the end.
Okay, I had to win. I
Goodness.
Allez, yes.
Oh no.
Two sides of the same coin.
Let's go.
Two sides of the same coin.
Oh, he was holding it all his man, the rage and the happiness.
He wins his quarterfinals 2-0 against xQc, moves on to the semifinals.
Well, it was very, very stressful because I knew xQc was really good in open position, and so do I. So I could get punished if I go for tactics. So, well, I tried to close it up a bit. I knew he had a preparation for my London system by Ikaru just before the stream. But sadly, I had my coach telling me exactly how to actually counter this. So I'm really sorry, but my coach won on this one.
Is that a shout out to Blitzstream, Kevin Bordy, or Nemo?
Yeah, Kevin on this one, yeah. Yeah, Nemo helped a lot, but on this C4 move, I must admit I would have never found it by myself. That was Kevin Bordy. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, Karu, I'm really sorry, but the game was really intense. I put myself in a so hard situation in the white game, and you did so well with your pawns. I was so in so big trouble, and well, I gave up my bishop and went like, okay, maybe my knight will do the job, and he did at the end. So I'm proud, but well, that was a bit lucky.
The bishop was stuck on the left side of the map. And I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I saw the bishop and the queen were like stacked upper left. But the only thing is that at mid there's like a fork trade I could have done that I didn't see, and the computer kept saying wrong. Like it kept wanting me to do it, but I didn't see it. I didn't get a grasp of it.
Are you talking about the knight fork or in the very first game?
Yeah, the knight sacrifice to knight take, knight fork.
The two of you have been on a huge grind for the whole event. As you said, XQC, you started basically PogChamps. So we can thank to you and the collaboration with you and Hikaru that the entire chess boom started, and the series, the PogChamps series, grew out of that collaboration. And now you're here for your third PogChamps. Unfortunately, we'll need to say goodbye to you, but will we see you be back for PogChamps 4?
Yeah, it'll be good. When I come back, I'll be stronger than ever, and I'll take the crown then.
Would be awesome to get to every match.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, man.
Ok, au plaisir. Au revoir.
Ciao.